Today I'll be talking about a show that everyone loves for some reason. I'm of course talking about Star Wars Rebels. A few years ago, a great rebellion saved the movie franchise from the evil toad known as George Lucas, after he raped and tortured the franchise and fanboys alike. A thousand voices cried out in relief, while some was skeptical if the rebellion would be the right place for the franchise. But time showed that Disney isn't just for dumb children. But not everything was great. A very good show known as Star Wars The Clone Wars was cancelled after the Dark Lord was defeated, and a shitty show called Star Wars Rebels took its place. Now the fate of the franchise rests in one butthurt fanboy's hands who can do nothing about it and feel he's entitled to shout his opinion to anyone who doesn't have anything better to do. First off, I'd like to talk about the characters. There's Ezra Spitzer, or something like that, the naive 14-year-old boy who will blindly trust every living soul within a mile's radius. K9, the super dog. He's like the only character I don't hate, I guess. He's like a Jedi too, so there's that. Sep, I couldn't come up with a fun name. The guy who's angry all the time. And because he is so angry all the time, a lot of the issues in the episodes is just because he and Ezra is fucked up. It's so annoying that he's always angry when he doesn't need to be. He really has no character. He's just an angry piece of paper. Boba female. She likes things that go boom and she's emo. That's all there is to her character. The Inquisitor, the most uninteresting villain of all time. He has no character or motivation. He's just evil. There's nothing to his character. He's like Darth Maul in The Phantom Menace. He just has a dumb lightsaber and we don't know anything about him. His character is like white toast. Uninteresting. And I thought, well, maybe it's like in A New Hope. Darth Vader was just evil and we didn't know much about him then. But we learned more of his backstory in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. But that wasn't the case with the Inquisitor. He died as he lived, as an uninteresting garbage bag full of flaws. We only learn after he's dead that he was a Jedi, but it's too late, he's dead. We don't learn shit about him. And this bitch who looks like she has a boot on her head. And lastly, the most uninteresting character of them all. To be honest, I forgot her name, but she has like dicks in the back of her head. But with all these diverse and interesting characters, my favorite episodes were where the main cast was separated. They are so boring together, like the episode where Seb and Agent Callus was stranded on an ice planet. That was my favorite episode because it gave some depth to Agent Callus. It showed his humanity and that he isn't told that much. His character arc changed. He isn't this hardcore bad guy, he's a person, and I really like that. And where the show fails is that they can't make new interesting characters, so they just keep introducing characters from the movies and the Clone Wars. Don't believe me? Let me list all the characters from the show and movies who has made an appearance. Lando, Ahsoka, Rex, Grand Moff Tarkin, Darth Vader, Leia, Yoda, Hondo Ohnaka, Bail Organa, Darth Maul, C-3PO, R2-D2, and in Season 3, Wedge Antilles and Grand Admiral Thrawn. I guarantee that the next one will be Boba Fett. I bet that in Season 3, Chewbacca will make an appearance in an episode where Seb and Chewie don't like each other, and they have to help him because Ezra convinced them to. The show is all fucking fan service, trying to satisfy you by giving you back the characters you actually liked, instead of making the new characters interesting. In the Clone Wars, it was revealed that Darth Maul didn't die in The Phantom Menace. They brought him back and made him interesting, and in the end, he was defeated by Palpatine. And whoop-de-doo, then they put him in Star Wars Rebels because they heard we liked him in the show. It feels forced every time they push a beloved character into our faces, like they jump out of the TV and say, hey, remember him? And these characters are way more interesting than the main characters because we're familiar with them. We've seen them before and know a lot about them. They didn't try to do something new. They rehashed old plots and characters and wasted a chance to do something new, from new and interesting characters' points of view. They make obvious hints at the movies and shows, like when Ezra holds the old cross-guard lightsaber. It's okay with small references, but this is just excessive. They didn't do it like The Force Awakens when Finn picks up the little ball Luke trained with on the Millennium Falcon in A New Hope. They make it way too obvious. But that isn't all, my beauties. The characters feel invincible. They steal from the Empire and it has no consequences. They literally stand still and don't get hit by blaster fire. They fight against AT-ATs and Star Destroyers and still come out on top. It never feels like anything's at stake and that our characters are vulnerable. There are so many scenes where heroes are fleeing from Star Destroyers, where they just blow everything up and disappear. And I know that the Millennium Falcon did that in A New Hope, but this is just overused. It happens all the time, and as a result, the Empire comes off as weak. And worst of all, the main character is my least favorite. He's a naive, annoying, fucking dumb piece of shit asshole. He'll trust anyone who shows the slightest interest in him. The first time he meets Maul, it takes like 2 minutes till he trusts him more than his fucking master. He's an annoying character, which is another reason this show sucks. There, now I won't talk more about those penny pieces of cardboard. In the show, there are a shit ton of inconsistencies, like a ton of new things that the Empire doesn't have in the original movies. They literally have a Star Destroyer that can pull starfighters out of hyperspace, and in the end of the episode, they blow it up and expect us to believe that the Empire never tried to build it again, because that would have been really fucking useful in the original trilogy. Like escorts for stormtroopers and AT-ATs. There are so many different Star Destroyers that have a tactical advantage, but in the movies they were like, maybe we should just have one. The Empire sucks in this show. And if that wasn't all, which it isn't, I have a lot more beans to spill, all the Imperials are fucking grey and sound like evil British guys from the 1920s. And all the people controlling the Star Destroyers are the two exact same models, a guy with brown hair and a guy with blonde hair. It comes off as lazy. The Imperials look like fucking zombies, and I know that you wanted them to seem evil, but they look like Dracula's cousin. They're just evil for the sake of being evil. And now it's time for the story. It's not necessarily bad, but it's not good either. In the first season, our heroes are only on the planet Lothal, where they do nothing but steal things or blow them up and kill stormtroopers. It's so boring and uninteresting. Some episodes have a little Jedi training, but they're so rare and few that you don't get a sense of progress. Suddenly he's just a good fighter and good at the Force. And it's very uninteresting that it only takes place in Lothal, because it's the most bland and boring looking planet in the galaxy. And it's not just on the same planet, but also in the same town, basically every episode. And when they're always on the same planet, you would think that the Empire would be able to find them. And Season 2 is better than Season 1, but every episode is just filler. It feels like none of the episodes have to be there, except the last one. They don't really have a goal in Season 2, except to find a base, which is entertaining for one episode, but not an entire season. And the villains in Season 2 are even more uninteresting than the first one. After the Inquisitor died, it was revealed that there were even more Inquisitors. It just feels like after they killed off the first one, Disney wasn't sure how to introduce a new villain, so they just said, oh yeah, there are more of them. And their lightsabers are so stupid. If they put them up in the air, they can fly away. And it's so fucking dumb, it looks like something Inspector Gadget would do. And now it's time to talk about the lightsabers. They're too fucking thin, and I tried to find out why. And they said that the lightsabers were more thin in the originals than the prequels. But not that fucking thin. Look at them. They're like fucking chopsticks, and no one is talking about it. It looks so terrible. It's fucking Star Wars, how do you get the lightsabers wrong? I can't take the fight scene seriously because it's like watching two people hitting each other with toothpicks. And another problem I have is that the show just looks bad. Vader doesn't look like he should, and Yoda looks even worse. He looks like a bald Teletubby. All the people look like they're made out of Play-Doh. They're too flexible. I know that's probably because they don't have as big a budget as Clone Wars did, but it still looks so fucking bad. So in conclusion, the characters are uninteresting and flawed, and the story is boring and dumb. The show makes no sense when it comes to military ships and transport, and they are too concerned with what the fans want that they totally forgot to make a good new show. Goodbye.